this Wednesday, July 29th at 5:58 p.m. And today we're doing a bit of a different video, but I think it's going to be a good one. I've got a few of my favorite board games here. I've got 6 or 7 board games that we're going to be going through. I've talked about these on the channel before, and a lot of them are my favorite, or are in a constant rotation, I guess is the right way to put that. So, yeah, that's all I've really got to say for an intro, so let's dive right in to some of the board games that I have been playing most recently and enjoy. First up is a game called Flapjacks and Sasquatches. This game's pretty simple to get a hang of. We'll kind of crack it open and show you some of the pieces. So, in this game, they give you a nice card that lays out exactly what you have to do every turn. So on your turn, you draw a tree if you don't already have one to work on. Let me show you what a tree card looks like. This is going to be your tree card. This tree requires 5 chops and it's worth 6 points. This kind of works in a blackjack style game. It's just first to 21. And then you're going to draw a red card, which a red card is anything to help you. So it's an axe, it's a pair of boots so you don't slip. It's something to, like, sabotage the people you're playing with, which would be, like, you know, a card to make them slip on their next chopping roll. I can show you a few here. So here would be a chopping axe. With a regular axe like this, you get 3 chops. Here's another one, tree hugger. This one, your opponent loses a turn. So, that's that. And then you take your chopping roll, and that's also laid out on this nice handy dandy card on the bottom. It shows you a chop is a 4, 5, or 6, a miss is 3, and a break is a 1 or 2. And you need 3 or more 1s and 2s to be able to break the axe, or the axe breaks, I guess. So, a very simple game. I like it. It doesn't take too long. Probably 20 minutes, around there at most. First to 21. And people can pick up on it pretty quick, so it's good to have, like, you know, when you're having like a game night or something like that. But I know I've talked about this one on the channel. I don't know where I'm going to put these when I'm done showing them. This next game is a new game in the collection that I have talked about often on the channel in the past couple days. Cats knocking things off of ledges. This one, there's actually a nice model here on the back. So as you can see, they're building a tower. So you build a tower, you put your cat on it, and you try to knock their toy off onto a different platform. Let me show you some of the pieces of this game. This is another super simple game. Here is your scoring. It's first to 10, and then you get one more turn to try to go over 10, you know. So, here are like your Lincoln logs. You're building pieces, so you take 2 of these, or 1. If you take 1, you put a little circle platform on like that. If you take 2, you're going to put a rectangle on. And then you take a cat, and you use these tweezers to place them on your tower. these. Then you'll take your little paw pad and knock your toy off. Here are the cats and the toys all in their bag. And the toys consist of, there's a pizza toy. There's a, I don't really know what this is, it's kind of like a pillow. There's a mouse toy, and there's also a fish one in here. And that's pretty much all there is to do in this game. Pretty simple. But I love cats, so this game is right up my alley. I'm keeping these at pretty simple games. I've got my favorite game of all time coming up here in the pile. And that one is complicated. I couldn't go over the rules in like a 2-hour video because there's like a different way that the game can end, and there's like 50 different ways at least, probably 7 more than that, but the next simple game that many of you have probably seen because it's all over TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever you watch on, it is Collide. Do these people look familiar to you? Let me know in the comments. This game, you're trying to put magnets inside a little rope, and you don't want them to snap together. If they snap together, you take them. I'm not going to open this one up because it's very loud to open with like the plastic insert in here. But again, a lot of these games so far are just like something you can whip out and play in 10-15 minutes, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I don't know. There's in this game you can kind of cheat too if you take like your magnet and you put it under the table while your opponent is going, and you can move the magnets around and they all kind of snap together. I've done that one time successfully, and it was pretty funny. They had no clue what happened. We had like all but 2 of our magnets down. I had one left in my hand. They were putting their last one down, and I took it underneath the table and I was moving it around, and all the magnets snapped together, and they had to take them all. I told them that I cheated on it, but it was kind of funny. Next up, this is another good party game. Taco, Cat, Goat, Cheese, Pizza. They recently came out with like a water edition of this, where the cards are waterproof and you can play it in a pool. So, here's the box. I guess I should show you that. So, you'll go in a turn order. I'll play a card, your opponent will play a card, back and forth, and you'll say taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza. If I'm playing a card that's supposed to be a taco, like when I'm saying taco and it's a taco, the first one to slap the pile of cards wins that round and doesn't take them, and your opponent takes them. And it's the first person out of cards. So, that's pretty much the gist of the game. There's a few caveats to that. There's like a few special cards. There's a groundhog, and you have to take your hands and hit it on the table. First one to do that wins the round. There's a gorilla. First one to beat their chest like a gorilla wins the round. There's a narwhal. First one to make the horn of the narwhal wins the round. I think that's it. Am I missing any? I don't believe so. Anyways, another simple, fun game to play at a party. Now we start to get into a bit more complicated games. 4 down, 3 to go, so 7 games total. bit more complicated, but it's not very hard. It's called organ attack. I think, I don't know, like the exact numbers everyone gets, but you each get a certain amount of cards, and it's an organ, so you get a heart, you get a liver, you get a eyeball, you get a, I'm trying to think what else is in here, a kidney, a spleen, something like that. Here's the box. You can kind of see some of the, like, designs for the game. I'm gonna pop this one open too, because there's this in here, which is kind of fun. I like that. I'll show you that in a second, but you get your organs. You each get, like, playing cards, and you can attack each other's organs. So I might get a card that's like, this can be played on a heart or a spleen, and it'll have like some virus name on there or something like that. And last one to have all their organs alive wins. I think it takes 2 or 3 things to knock out an organ, depending on which one. There's also like vaccine cards that you can play on yourself to protect yourself for 2 rounds, something like that. But they give you stickers. And this is like the same art that's in the game. So here is the heart, the nose, esophagus, gallbladder, so you kind of get the gist of the game with like their art style here. Trachea. It's kind of like Pokemon cards, but for stickers. Can't really shuffle them. I never really got into Pokemon cards myself. I don't really get the hype behind them. I know like they're super coveted nowadays. I don't get it. But you get stickers for all 24 organs in the game. I don't really know what you would do with them, but you have them. Boom. Alright, that game was a little bit simpler to explain than I thought, but it gets more complicated, I promise. Has anyone ever played Happy Little Dinosaurs? This is where things get complicated, so I'm going to start unpacking the games. So, you get to take a dinosaur. There's a Triceratops, Nervous Rex. I guess I could show you this side. A Bad Luck Bronto. And of course, a Stego. We'll do our demonstration with the Stego. So, you get like a little meeple, I guess is the word for it, I think. And you're gonna place this guy on your board. Right at the start line there on the bottom, right there. And it's either first one to get to the end or last one to die. So each round there is going to be a disaster played. Here's this one. Let me read it the future is bleak. You visit a fortune teller and the crystal ball explodes. That cannot be a good sign. And you can get 3 of the same disaster types. So this one is a blue disaster with that broken heart. There's also the red disasters, the green disasters, I think there's one more. That's like kind of all of the above. And on your playing board you can see you can either get 5 disasters of like unique ones, or 3 of the same. So I could get 2 green disasters, 2 blue disasters, and I'd still be in the game. But if I get 3 blue or 3 green, that's it, I'm dead. So that's kind of how that works, put simply. Anyways, each time you play, you're gonna get a chance to play like a weapon. So like this home run bat is worth 5 points. Bow and dino is worth 6. Mouth trap. And this one has something on the bottom, if you can see that. During scoring this round, switch the score of the highest scoring player, and the lowest scoring player after scores have been calculated. So that could be a strategy if you know your opponent is going to play something big, because they don't want to lose. You could play that, and that swaps your scores at the end. But there's also cards in there that add 2 to your score, or subtract 2 from your opponent's, vice versa. High score wins for the round. At the end of the round, however many like numbers are in your card, so if you've got a card worth 5 on there, like the bow and dino, I think those were 6. Bow and dinos were 6. Okay, so 6. And I add a card that adds 2. I'm going to go up 8 on my number board. So that's how you can win that way, is by having enough points to get you to the end before you die, or being the last alive. So you just kind of go back and forth and try to take your opponent out. You can strategize on if they've got 2 green ones and another green disaster comes up, you can play big to try to make them take it and win. Hopefully I'm explaining these okay. And in an entertaining fashion. Let me know in the comments if you're still watching and if you want to see more videos like this. Last up is my favorite game of all time. It is Betrayal at House on the Hill. I rarely get to play this one. 3 to 6 players, and it takes a while. So, I don't know how I want to show this game. It builds. I'll unbox it a little bit. Betrayal at House on the Hill. A fantastic game if you love board games. So, pretty much everyone is going to get a little character. Let me see if I can find one. Here's this blue lady. Extremely tiny. I don't know if that's really picking up on camera or not. And you get the corresponding, like, player chart token thing. So, you're starting in a haunted house, and it's good in this game if, like, you know, you got the atmosphere going on. Anyways, and you're gonna start in the foyer, and you see how those little yellow doors, that's where you can explore, and there's a stack of cards similar to this, and you build the room, so every time you play the game it's gonna be different. The rooms are gonna be in a different spot. You can't really plan for what's gonna happen. You get to move depending on the speed of whatever this is. So the speed of this lady starts at 5, So I could move 5 spaces, explore 5 rooms, whatever. At some point, you're gonna run into a room with a omen on it. Let's see if I can find one. There's a lot of tokens in this game. That's an event. I need an omen. Here we go. Alright. So, the servants' quarters has an omen. If you can see that crow in the bottom left corner. Bottom right corner, I guess. Thinking of it reverse. When you walk into that room, your turn stops. You have to draw a omen card, which I have in here somewhere. You have to draw a omen card. Sometimes it'll be an item, sometimes it's a challenge, something like that. Every time a omen is revealed, you take this counter and move it up to the next number. You then have to roll the dice and try to get higher than that number. The dice only have 0s, 1s, and 2s. Once you fail to get that number or higher, the haunt begins. And this is, you thought it was complicated, this is where it gets complicated. Now you each have a rulebook. One person is going to become the traitor that you're playing with, and the rest are the survivors. So the traitor has their own challenge they want to complete, and the survivors have their own thing to stop the traitor from doing whatever they need to do. So, I think it's in this book. Let me check. It's in this book. Hang on. There's 3 rule books in this. Bear with me. Sorry about that, everyone. Oops. There is a haunt chart. This is going to tell you with what, omen you're revealed. So if you're revealed the spear omen in the master bedroom, you're going to be going to haunt 43, which is called the hidden traitor. See, secrets of survival. So you go to haunt number 43. I guess I picked a bad example. Okay, let's go to haunt 44. Youngest explorer. That's going to be your traitor. So whoever's youngest in the room is becoming the traitor. They're going to go in a separate room, read whatever they have to do, while the survivors read what they have to do. Then you both try to accomplish whatever you need to. Whoever wins, wins. If, one of your skills goes down to the dead sign, you're out of the game. It's a bit complicated. However, if you stick with it, it's a lot of fun, so I highly recommend this game. Watch a few YouTube videos before you try to play for the first time. It's going to be complicated. But if you were to get one board game from this video, I would recommend this one. Let me know if you have any questions on any of them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. But all-time favorite board game, right here. So, a big thank you for everyone stopping by the channel today. Hopefully this was kind of a nice change of pace in video from the eating. I really appreciate your feedback, so let me know in the comments if you liked it or not. A big thank you to all of my viewers. We're picking up the pace again on viewers, so that's great. I really appreciate that, and everyone stopping by to view the channel. A big thank you to everyone who's been liking and commenting as well. A big, I respond to all the comments down below, so make sure to leave a comment. A big thank you to my subscribers as well. Thank you to the newer and the long-term subscribers. And a big thank you to my members as well for helping support the channel a little extra on top of all that. So thank you to everyone for their support one way or another. I really appreciate it. And let me know your favorite board game in the comments below. And I'll talk to you all in tomorrow's video.